The first thing that has to be talked about is the fact that President Obama has pardoned or issued a commutation for Chelsea Manning. Chelsea Manning has been in jail for the past 7 years since she leaked a trove of documents to WikiLeaks. She was serving a 35-year sentence, and Chelsea became kind of the flashpoint for whistleblowers and transparency and radical transparency. And there are quite a few voices on the left, not Democratic voices, but voices on the left who have rallied behind her and put pressure on President Obama to issue a commutation. And so in May, she still has to stay in jail from now until May, but I'm sure this is overwhelmingly encouraging for her because she does not have to serve the full 35 years, of which the judge said that they were going to make an example, or the tribunal, whoever the military tribunal wanted to make an example of her. Chelsea was convicted underneath the Espionage Act, which was passed in the early 20th century by Woodrow Wilson. It's quite a nefarious act, and we still use it to put pressure on government employees who would be whistleblowers, who would try to bring transparency to improve the American government, but the American government kicks back and does not want to be improved in that fashion. President Obama has, I believe in 2014, between 2008 and 2014, used the Espionage Act more than all previous administrations, just in the first 6 years of his administration. So as transparent as President Obama claimed that he wanted to be, there was a particular type of transparency. It was the type of transparency that they approved of, which is understandable. Power concedes nothing. Power doesn't want to be beholden to anyone, especially not a, lowly, contractor like Snowden or, they don't want to be held accountable to people who actually participate in the activities that America should know about. So I'm not surprised that President Obama wanted or claimed to be transparent and then utilized, because the establishment, and I'm not talking about the political establishment, I'm actually talking about the institution. The American institution will always protect itself, no matter how good of intentions a person say they have, or no matter what intentions they actually have. Even if he had good intentions, the American institution was going to protect itself. But never mind relitigating that at this point. I mean, there's still people who should be released. And there still should be protections for whistleblowers, but this is a pretty victorious day that President Obama, he didn't have to do this. This is 100% his prerogative, and he chose to do so. President Obama also pardoned 67 people and a total of 207 commutations. Included in the pardon was General Cartwright. You may remember Cartwright pleaded guilty to leaking classified information regarding the U.S. and Israeli cyber attack against the Iranian nuclear program, also known as Stuxnet, which was, it was pretty impressive. All thing, just as a complete aside, the worm, the virus, I call it a virus, but a worm that they used to spin Iranian centrifuges out of control, setting back their nuclear program. I think Cartwright thought it was pretty dope as hell, too. That's why he ended up saying it. I can't really think of any other reason he would leak that to the press, but I digress. The point is, he has also been pardoned. So with today's 209 grants of commutation, the president has commuted sentences of over 1,300 individuals, and the most grants of commutation issued by any president in the nation's history. So this includes 504 life sentences, 212 pardons, more than the total number of commutations issued by the 12 presidents combined. So President Obama is just letting them out. I mean, compared to previous administrations, President Obama is letting them out. Manning was convicted underneath, of course, her crime was she copied hundreds of thousands of military incident logs from the Afghan and Iraq wars. She exposed abuses of detainees by Iraqi military officers. She showed that civilian deaths in the Iraq war were probably higher than the official count. And it also included about 250,000 diplomatic cables from American embassies around the world. The response to this has been staggering. Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, has come out and pretty consistent with his position all along, full-throated condemnation of President Obama's commutation of Chelsea Manning, even going as far as saying that this sets a dangerous precedent. I'm not sure how this sets a precedent because it's a presidential pardon, right? It's not like we are changing the law for a particular individual. This is just something that a president has the prerogative and the right to do. So there's not really a precedent that is being set. And it's not as though someone can say, oh, I'll go ahead and be a whistleblower and maybe Donald Trump will pardon me. That's when you believe that there's a precedent being set, you believe that there are behaviors that are being encouraged by our law. I don't think anyone in their right mind will say that the narrative or the lesson and the moral of this story is that all you have to do is wait for the presidential pardon, which is complete. And then there's been the reaction from the Democratic establishment that was vested in opposition towards Chelsea Manning because this happened on the watch of President Obama. And by that, I expressly mean you have Democrats who normally, you know, if this had been underneath President Bush, I believe I heard Glenn Greenwald said this. If Snowden occurred under President Bush, Snowden would be the quintessential Democratic hero. But because it occurred underneath Barack Obama, of course, he is an enemy of the state, and Democrats become far more hawkish again with regard to whistleblowers. Same thing with Chelsea Manning. You have Democrats. You have voices, not Democrats, leaders. Usually the leaders will stay in line and go along with what the president says and does. But you have some loud voices in the blogosphere who condemn this because they don't know how to handle the cognitive dissonance of this person doing something tacitly to President Obama and then President Obama pardoning this person. They can't handle that. It's like it's going to make their heads explode. So you're seeing a full range of responses. But ultimately, I think this is a good move. I think this is the right move. I think this, if nothing else, the human rights violations that the treatment of Chelsea at the hands of her, I want to say captors, right? But that's not the accurate word, but you understand what I'm saying. So this is a good move, and this is a good mark for President Obama for progressives. And we have every right to measure President Obama based on our expectations, because what the hell else are we going to do? Right? People say, oh, it's absurd. Oh, now you like President Obama. No, I don't necessarily like President Obama. I like this decision. So, yes, I like this decision. Could have came sooner, but it happened, and only 6 more months or 5 more months for Chelsea to wait to be released.